Welcome to the secret society of second-born royals. Probably all wondering, what are my powers?
We're superheroes?
Hi, my name's Dave. I'm calling from Deeble Down Under here in Australia. Yes, I've got a fellow Melburnian here.
Hello, Melburnian, mate.
Hi, how you going? I was actually going to ask you, Olivia, you had a fairly substantial run on Home and Away,
Yes.
and now you've grabbed a leading role in a Disney film. What's it like going from Summer Bay to the Magic Kingdom?
It's pretty crazy, especially when I got told that I got the job, it was 2 days after I finished up my contract on Home and Away.
Wow.
So it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy, complete shift. I think Home and Away really prepared me. It was hard leaving my Home and Away family, like, kind of how territorial and how familiar we are, but everyone was hugely supportive, so that was lovely, and I grew so many tools from being on that show and that I took to my next adventure. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, now you're a Disney princess, so that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Peyton, you've obviously been part of the Disney family for a while with your role on Disney Channel's Andy Mack. How exciting is it for you to now make the jump to be a Disney princess?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing journey so far being a part of the Disney family. There's nothing like it. It's so special, and every kid, or not every kid, but most kids grow up watching Disney Channel and, loving the shows and the movies. And I mean, I can speak from personal experience. So much of my childhood was sort of centered around Wizards of Waverly Place and all of those shows, So to sort of think about the idea that I might be a part of those core Disney memories for this new generation is very exciting. And, I'm just so humbled and happy to be a part of it all.
Yeah, and Noah, you portray one of the few characters in the film that doesn't come from a royal bloodline, but you get to be a Disney sidekick. Now, some of the coolest characters are Disney sidekicks, so it's going to be pretty cool as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. Just like Peyton was saying, as a kid, you always kind of watch those shows and wish that one day maybe you could be able to be one of those kids on the show. And it's kind of surreal that now, I had that chance, and, I'll maybe get to be that kind of Zach and Cody or kind of character for a younger kid. But I don't have any powers, but that's okay, because I feel like my power in the movie is being just a great friend to Sam.
And Faly, you have worked with Disney before. You've done you did a bit of work on Raven's Home. How do the two experiences differ for you personally?
The energies were just different entirely. With Raven's Home, I played a guest role, and I played as Miles from Raven's Home. He also had a superpower, the power of suggestion. I was able to tell people to do things, and they do it like Tuma.
Yeah.
So the contrast in itself was just the fact that I wasn't a lead in that per se. I was more of a guest role. So I was kind of more on set, as it was more it was a lot more serious for me. I felt like I had a lot more that I had to prove to the rest of the people on set, like, hey, you guys are amazing at your jobs, because those kids are all super inspirational. They're all like 3 years younger than me, and they were living my dream, so I was, I felt like I had a lot I had to live up to on set. I had to show them that, like, hey, I'm here to work just like the rest of you, and I'm going to do a darn good job at it, well, as with Secret Society, it was a lot more of a, it was still that same type of setting, but once again with people that I definitely grew a lot closer to as a cast. It was a cast of my own for once. So
I watched the film a couple of days ago and really, really enjoyed it. And it sounds like you had a lot of fun working on it as well.
Totally, we really did. I think all of us bonding on set, and we just had a great time, and we've got some incredible memories. I mean, I've been looking back at the photos recently to start being able to post things when the movie's out, and we just had so many great memories together and such a great time.
The whole film is really about friendship and family, and it really sounds like, I was in the press conference earlier, that you guys really formed essentially a family on set and behind the scenes. What do you think is the importance of that in a film like this?
I think it's really important, because we have to be a team, and I don't believe it would be believable unless we were a team in real life. Even if we are actors, there's just some things you can't fake, and you can't fake a bond. And I feel like that's what you see in the movie.
Yeah, I agree. And I think as well, it's important for the audiences to see that and to know that we are really friends and are a team in real life, because it's one of my favorite things to do is after watching a movie, going to watch their interviews and seeing how the cast react and going, oh, they really are friends. And it just makes that relationship on screen so much more fun to be able to watch, is when you hear the funny things they did and when you hear them accidentally slipping up on things or making jokes about things. Like, it just makes them human and makes them real. So I think it's definitely very important to show that.
Yeah. And while this is, I guess, essentially the first original film that's been done for Disney Plus. I mean, most of the other ones are either based on pre-existing sources or were planned for theatrical release. This is essentially the first Disney Plus. Like, how cool is it to be part of something like that?
Yeah, it's huge. And I think within saying that, it really is a modern twist. We're talking about modern teenagers who are dealing with modern issues, and we cover a lot of topics within it. So I think there are so many kind of subplots and little rabbit holes that we go down. So it's an incredible movie to be part of, as you said, because it is an original, and it's an original in so many formats. And then in addition to that, we're telling, each individual has their own true moral compass story, as well as this group of teamwork. So yeah, it was incredible, and I was so grateful to have worked on it.
Yeah, it's amazing to be able to join the Disney family. They take care of one another, and it's such a deep community. So to be a part of it, especially at this young age, it's such a blessing.
I mean, for me, it's iconic, and it's still very surreal. There are some days I wake up and I have to pinch myself and remind myself that I'm in a Disney movie and that I'm a Disney princess, because I think it's everyone's dream at some point in their life is to be in the Disney family. And I think, especially where we are now with like Disney Channel and Disney Plus, it's even bigger of a family now, because there's so many different moving parts to it with all the content that's being released. And I love that I'm in the Disney family. I mean, I'm honored that they thought of me to be a part of the Disney family, because it's an incredible honor. And I think I will never forget that I am part of the Disney family, because it really is something that lasts you for a lifetime. Yeah, it's amazing. I remember when I first saw that it was Disney Plus and the Disney Plus original movie. I mean, I was just mind blown, because I go, this is a moment in history, a moment in media history and film history. And I mean, you look at, like, if you're getting technical, like with numbers, Disney Plus had over 50 million new users in the first 5 months or something crazy like that. And it's so cool to think that there are so many people who are going to watch this movie, because in reality for us, I mean, it was a project that we put our heart and soul into, but it feels like this big. But then you put it on Disney Plus with so many more people seeing it, and it becomes this big. And I think to see how a project can grow like that, when for us it's just putting our heart and soul into something that we love doing, and to see that people love it. I mean, we've been fortunate enough to hear today that people love the movie when they've seen it, and that just warms my heart, because we did work so hard on it, and it is like a baby for us, and we put everything we had into it and worked so hard on it, and now for it to be able to be out and everything coming to fruition is kind of cool.
The really great thing about it is it not only draws on, classic comic book, tropes and superhero stuff, but there's a lot of like real Shakespearean elements in there as well. The fight for throne, the fight for power. You've seen like Hamlet, Macbeth, and then it kind of draws parallels with real life royalty. The second born royal is always a little bit of a wild child too. So where do you personally find your own inspiration in building your characters?
That's a good question. I think a lot of my inspiration for my character on its own was definitely are you guys familiar with the actor Michael? Is it Michael Cera? It's Michael
Cera,
right? Yeah, he was a huge
inspiration.
Oh my God,
yes. Sorry,
huge inspiration for,
and that makes so much sense.
Yeah, he was a huge inspiration for my role, only because of what he brings to his characters. He always plays the awkward, shy character, and I feel like I drew a lot from his energy. I watched a lot of his movies for this, and as you said, the any royals in general, Harry for one, he I didn't do a lot of research on him per se, but I did watch some videos on him on how he postures himself, how he displays himself, because of him being a royal, and I feel like that was important information for me to know. I mean, I didn't use it very much, only because Mateo is definitely not the super postured man like Harry is per se, but it was just good information to have.
Yeah, so for me, Mike was just a normal kid, and kind of, I feel like because he's a non-royal, that kind of gives him his own uniqueness in a way. And he's not friends with Sam because she's royal. He's friends with Sam because he likes her for who she is. But she's a good friend to him, and he's the same way right back. And they have a deep love and passion for music that they play together, and that's kind of their thing. And he's kind of like a healthy distraction for her from all the stresses that royal life might bring. So yeah, and I feel like I might be similar in a way to Mike, and just the way of how loyal he is to his friends. I feel like I'm a pretty loyal friend.
Well, so again, Roxana's this stuck up, like I think there was so much room for me to gather. She's not only a royal, she's also an influencer. My favorite thing is to make fun of Instagram influencers. So I got to play that and then also overcome that. So I decided as soon as I read it, I went, she's going to have a really posh English accent. She has to. It's going to be hilarious. So I got to play like this dumb blonde. There was so many components of comedy that I've studied. I've studied stand-up comedy and slapstick comedy, and I got to use so much of that. And then there was also, again, as I said, there was this really important underlying message. So there were so many dreams that I got to fulfill just within this one character.
Yeah, I think a lot of the inspiration for my character comes from my own personal experience. I really connect very closely with Sam and who she is as a person, and her sort of pursuit to finding herself and to becoming the person she wants to be. And, I think that's something that I can relate to, and all kids growing up everywhere can relate to, is sort of just that, where do I belong? Where do I fit in? How can I stand out? And how can I make a mark? Which are all things that Sam sort of struggles with and figures out and navigates throughout the movie. And all of her reactions and everything that I brought to the character comes from my personal experience and just being able to relate really closely to the story.
Yeah, that's great. There's a lot of obviously comic book movies, superhero movies, stuff like that's really, really big at the moment. What would you say sets Secret Society apart from the rest of the stuff that's out there?
They don't have that royalty aspect, and they are teenagers.
Yeah.
The message that it sends of self-empowerment and everyone having kind of their own different powers, but finding a way to use them in a positive way and use them to defeat maybe an evil. I think that's really what sets it apart. And then just kind of the whole dynamic with Sam's secret society life, and then her relationship with Mike, and kind of having to navigate through those things. So
I'm going to say that I think it's great that this film kind of breaks the mold of what people might think a princess should be, or might think a superhero should be, and sort of like stands apart from those stereotypes, which I think is.
What do you think the importance of a story like this is at this specific moment in time? What do you hope people take from it?
That you can't judge a book by its cover, and you need to accept people for who they are, and differences are what make us us. I feel like too many people think that everybody has to have the same opinion or same viewpoint. And if, the world was like that, it'd be a boring world. And I think that's something that I really even love just about acting, because we get to, put on somebody else's shoes and view the world from their perspective, so, being an actor, being able to bring this character to life to where other people are going to be able to, see themselves in me, because I didn't really get that till I was, later, I'm 16 watching Black Panther, and, I know how much of an effect that had on me. But I can't imagine what that would have been like to be able to watch Chadwick at 12 or 10 or at 9, where I, at 8, where I'm not even understanding it, but I'm still seeing somebody that looks like me on television or on film, so I can't wait.
Yeah, I think this film couldn't be coming out at a better time, for two main reasons. Firstly, because it's such a happy film, it's full of hope and light. And those are two things that we don't really have a lot of right now. So I think being able to add a little bit of, you know, just fun and happiness to the world and to someone's day is going to be huge. And also, I think the themes of embracing who you are and loving yourself and others, because we are all unique individuals, and being able to come together because of that and find togetherness in our uniqueness and in what makes us different. That's a huge thing that we need to work on right now as a society, because right now we're letting our differences tear us apart. And, you know, there's no way for that to ever work well, you know, so.
Amazing. Fantastic. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
There's a special gene exclusive to second-borns of royal bloodlines.
Super senses. Whoa.
Royalty by day, superhero by night sounds pretty dope.
Well, what are you waiting for? A royal invitation? Let's go.
Whatever obstacles you face, nothing is impossible.
Being second-born doesn't mean you're second best.
If this is your first time viewing one of my videos and you'd like to see more like it in the future, then please don't forget to hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen, as well as that like button down below for that little extra support. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.